Arthur, Ray.
Mel.
I was beginning to get a bit anxious.
You were born anxious, Mel. I told you I wouldn't let you down.
But I know, but being association secretary is no bed of roses. So much to think of, so much to organise.
Must be tough at the top, Mel.
Yes, Ray, indeed it is. Arthur, could I have a quiet, discreet word with you?
Yeah, certainly, Mel. Ray, see if you can find our table and large vodka.
Right. Tonight's agenda, Arthur.
No trouble. Immediately after dinner, I introduce Billy Mortimer. Then when he's finished entertaining us, I draw a raffle.
Yes. Now, that's what Billy Mortimer's going to win the raffle.
I didn't know you were clairvoyant, Mel.
Now, that's Billy's winning ticket. That's the one I want you to draw out of the hat.
A bent raffle? There's nothing sacred.
Look, Arthur, that's the only way you get someone like Billy Mortimer to be guest speaker.
Has he got a thing about winning raffles?
He's got a thing about not paying tax. He wins the raffle, that's £500 cash prize. If it goes through the books, he'll be looking to collect £1,000.
Well, I'm all for people having a pot of the inland revenue, but this is highly irregular.
Don't worry, Arthur, it's all above board. It was agreed by the committee.
Oh, all right.
That's what I like about Arthur Daly. The trouble with you men is all you want to talk about is business. Where's your sense of fun?
The bank manager's holding it as collateral.
Come on, Raymond. How many raffle tickets are you going to buy?
Teddy, I think you might be interested. You still thinking of updating your Daimler?
Yes, yeah, I am.
Winchester's Club. Oh, hello, Arthur.
Dave, can you do me a favour? Yeah, I want you to ring a bloke called Tony. Well, he's giving away a Daimler at a lunatic price, and I want to be first in. Well, the thing is, I don't have a phone number, and director inquiries seem to be on an extended tea break. But I'm in the middle of a business meeting. No, it's very awkward for me to stop my detailed negotiations. Well, keep trying till you get the number, and then give this Tony a bell. Goodtime Motors.
Tony, Goodtime Motors. That's right, Arthur, I got that.
Yeah, you can leave it with me.
Arthur.
Oh, Billy Mortimer. I'm Arthur Daly. I'm introducing you after dinner. I'm looking forward to your sick as a carrot, over the moon, body in the box. Football's a game of two sides.
Well, I leave that to Gazza and the others. Just wanted to have a word with you about the raffle.
Oh, no problem. All under control. You've got a nice little number going here, haven't you, with this after-dinner speaking caper?
Damn sight easier than getting clogged all over the park by psychopathic defenders.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Quite a pleasant form of remuneration.
Time for dinner, is it, Ray?
You've already missed the first course, and we owe the raffle lady £20. All right, mate.
And I'm sure you will all join with me in hoping that Captain Charisma at number 10 comes to the aid of our beleaguered profession. What this country needs is less schools and hospitals and more filling stations. This government must launch a four-pronged attack to come to the help of the motor trade. 1, reduce buses and trains. 2, increase fares. Put down a few more 1,000 miles of tarmac in the countryside. And 4, encourage the building of huge supermarkets in remote locations.
We've only got him booked for the evening, Arthur.
And now the man we've all been waiting to hear, followed by the draw for the raffle. I give you Mr. Golden Boots himself, the only striker this government ever approved of, Billy Mortimer.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Willie, this is an unrepeatable offer. My friend's supplier, fully cognizant of the approaching Chinese New Year, has slipped me 3 gross.
爸爸，阿父話佢識一個法國生意佬咧，知道農曆新年就嚟到啦。咁咧呢個法國佬買咗一批好平嘅貨俾 Arthur， 減到好平、好低賣俾你。呢個機會咧，佢話得一次嘅啫。
好，送產。
My father says fine, but what exactly is it you want to sell him?
Raymond, if you'd be so good. Guaranteed to brighten any Oriental gathering. Thank you very much. Thank you. You need to park the car.
Right, where are we going?
We are not going anywhere. I'm going to see a man about a dog. I'll see you back here in an hour. I think you've forgotten about picking me up. Right. Let's go and search that Daimler again.
How was the dog then?
What dog?
The dog you went to see the man about.
Oh, yeah. Fine. You keep your eyes on the road, Ray. This Tony's like the Scarlet What's-his-name, everywhere and nowhere. Dave says there isn't a phone number listed.
Do you want to try further down?
No, we'll come back later. This place is like a warren.
Hello, Ray. Oh, that's it. Arthur about?
Yeah.
Arthur,
What do you want?
you all right?
No, of course I am. What you creeping up on me like that for?
Sit outside for you.
Sid, I'll put word out about the Cookeroods. I should hear something soon.
It's not the Cookeroods I want to talk to you about, Arthur. Take a look at this.
Well, you looking for a new car, then?
Don't be silly, Arthur. I've got 80 of these in the showroom. What I want and need is a new lamppost.
Lamppost?
Yes, lamppost.
Yeah, I hate to think what the lamppost looks like.
Well, with my luck, I couldn't hit a modern, ordinary one. I had to pick one with a preservation order on it. If I don't get a replacement, the council's going to do me.
What'd you come to me for? What you want is a builder's yard.
Not on this one, Arthur. Fluted with an octagonal head. You're always getting strange items coming your way.
Well, I'll keep my eyes open. How much are you prepared to pay?
Money's no object. I can't cope with a court case. Not in our line of business.
Well, lampposts aren't usually my forte, but that phrase, money no object, will doubtless concentrate the mind. I'll see what I can do.
Right. I don't mind running these over to Chinatown. Why don't you have an early night?
Early night? What did I do with an early night?
Well, you haven't exactly been yourself today, have you? Slipping off to see men about dogs, and I thought you was having a fit in the office.
The moral of that story, my son, is always knock before entering. I'm right as rain. I'll drop these bulbs off, and then I'll probably see you back at the Winchester.
Can I do anything for you?
Yes, my dear. Can you tell me...
Good evening, sir. We're police officers.
So what's going on? What's happening?
You're under arrest.
What for? Touching a lamppost?
You're under arrest for assaulting a police officer and contravening the Sexual Offences Act.
Why are they taking my time braces away?
Well, in case you try to top yourself.
How thoughtful. How long do they keep us in here?
It varies. I'm in for up wiring cars, but they'll ban me in a little while.
You're being a bit indiscreet, admitting it.
Not much choice. See, they caught me with my head underneath the dashboard.
What was their response?
Should I be more comfortable in here?
What are these others in here for?
That one over there doing the press-ups. He tried to do a runner from a restaurant. The others there all in for being drunk and disordered. They'll be there soon. But you could be here quiet.
I've got an international organisation, branches throughout Europe. Oh, they've taken my business cards.
Yeah, I knew it. I told him. I said, when we see him in reception, I said, now that is an international embezzler if ever I have seen one.
I am not an embezzler.
Yeah, of course not, Governor. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not a clown.
I'm highly respected in my community.
Naturally. Front. Here. Your first division, aren't you?
I most certainly am.
Right. Let's have the curb crawler.
We've attempted to check the address you gave us. There was no one there.
No, there wouldn't be. Her indoors is out visiting.
What, this time of night?
She's staying with her sister in Cromer.
Case of while the cat's away, Sarge.
Looks like it, Dickie.
Cat or cat? I haven't got a cat. Just tropical fish.
We've caught ourselves a comedian. Let's talk about these.
It's a red light bulb. Nothing unusual about that.
What's unusual, Mr. Daly, is that we discovered getting on for 3 gross. Run a chain of dark rooms, do we, sir?
There's a perfectly simple explanation for the light bulbs. And what is more, you'll find a receipt in my wallet.
We already have.
A French receipt.
Well, of course. They're French light bulbs.
I'll see you later then, Dave.
Oh, cheers, right. There you go.
Yeah.
When's this close? Oh, yeah, he is. Right!
Arthur Daly, you are charged that in Barrington Street, SE1, you did assault William Collins, a constable of the Metropolitan Police, in the execution of his duty, contrary to Section 51 of the Police Act of 1964. You are further charged that in Barrington Street, you did solicit a woman for the purposes of prostitution, contrary to Section 2 of the Sexual Offences Act 1985. You're not obliged to say anything, but anything you do may be used as evidence at your trial. I'd like you to check these, please, Mr. Daly. And then sign a receipt.
We're going to hold on to the light bulbs, Daly, while further inquiries are being made.
Don't say I'm afraid. If you do, it'll be taken down and used as evidence against you. Come on, get me to sanity. And he kept going on about them red light bulbs. I explained to him I was on my way to deliver them to a customer in Chinatown. But I only got out of the car to check a lamppost.
Check a lamppost.
Yeah, Sid's looking for one. Fluted Victorian with octagonal head.
Precisely. I thought I saw one, so I got out of the car to check it. Next thing I know, I'm being mugged. At least I thought I was being mugged.
Who by?
Well, it turned out to be 2 plainclothes men. Charge, Dave. He fell over me foot and I get done for assault. Done me more damage than it did him. Then there was the business of the girl.
You mentioned 3 charges, Arthur.
Yeah, something about curb crawling. I wasn't even in the car.
Now, I just had a long conversation with the Crown Prosecution Service.
See, Ray, that is the advantage of having a good legal man in your corner.
I'm obliged to you, Mr. Daly.
So what, it's all cleared up, is it? I'll get a formal apology?
Not quite. They're proceeding with the 3 charges against you. Case will come up at the earliest possible date.
You seem to be taking a very sanguine view of this.
Oh, I try not to become emotionally involved in my client's problems.
Just financially involved, is it?
Raymond, really? Sorry about that, Mr. Lockwood. But the lad blames himself for what happened.
Well, if you'd let me take the light bulbs, Arthur, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, I do blame myself.
I take a very serious view of your alleged assault of the police officer.
Assault? He fell over me foot.
Facial injuries, including 3 broken teeth.
Yeah, but I didn't hit him, the ground did. I thought he was after me wallet. It was in my hand at the time.
Yes, indeed. While you were allegedly negotiating with a convicted prostitute.
I was trying to find a local motor dealer.
Well, it's an unusual defence if you could actually find him, I grant you that. The police solicitor advises me that prior to your arrest, there were numerous sightings of a man driving a Daimler very slowly in the area.
That was me. And me. We were looking for Goodtime Motors.
Yes, as your statements say. Be useful for your defence if you could actually find the proprietor.
Mr. Holmes, could you report to Secretary, please?
Son, I've struck gold. Badly sprained Achilles tendon. No weight on the foot for 2 to 3 weeks.
Just how is that good news?
Well, never mind me assaulting the police. This is what they done to me. You heard what Lockwood said. Be good for my defence.
These are the actions of a guilty man, Arthur.
No, Raymond. These are the actions of a man who does not like being fitted up. Just think of the sympathy this will get me in court. And the best part of it is it doesn't even hurt very much. I'll get you to push me to the car just for show, and then we'll bung the wheelchair in the boot of the car till I have to go to court.
More to the point, what are you doing in that wheelchair?
Sarge, you've got to hurry back to the Nick. You've got a couple of visitors. Sorry.
Bye-bye, Mr. Morley. You realise what this means, right? Every time I want to go out, I've got to get in this thing.
You've charged him with what?
He's guilty.
Really, Tomo? Curb crawling? Robbery?
Possibly. Likely.
Cheating or conniving?
Certainly.
But curb crawling? And assaulting a police officer? He's going to walk all over you in the court, Tomo.
Sharp, is he? You could shave with him.
He didn't look so sharp the other night when we pulled him in.
Make a voluntary statement, did he?
No.
What did he say when you officially charged him?
Not a dickie.
You got the wrong man, chum.
Well, if we can't get any help from his local manor, we'll have to use our initiative, won't we?
Looks like it.
That Morley.
What about him?
I was a Hendon with him, thick as 2 short planks.
Surprisingly made sergeant, then.
That'll be a typing error.
Do you know something? I was at Hendon with that Tompkins.
Really?
Yeah. The night before finals, I caught him trying to copy up all my notes.
Is that why you wouldn't help him with his case against Daly?
Look, Phil, nothing will give me greater pleasure than helping to get Daly banged up. But I would like it to be for something he's actually...
Yeah. Must admit, the idea of Arthur Daly opening his wallet and offering money to anyone seems unlikely.
The day that happens, there'll be pigs flying all over this manor.
You really are a top-drawer villain, aren't you? You're run-of-the-mill, don't get no ID parade.
I keep telling you, I'm not a villain.
And why are you talking out the side of your mouth?
This is fraught with risk, you know, Mr. Daly. Are you sure you're willing to do this?
Mr. Lockwood, we are about to blow their case right out of the water.
Right, gentlemen. Be so kind as to stand in line over there.
Hey, look, I'm a busy man, so let's get on with it.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? Mr. Lockwood, will you point out to them that they are all in shirt sleeves and I'm in my overcoat in a wheelchair?
I'm afraid we're out of overcoats and wheelchairs at the moment.
Give us a hand, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse us, please. Thank you. Sorry?
Yeah,
Yeah, make room, mate.
Do you mind going there? Yeah, right now.
Miss Brown, I want you to take as long as you like. Is there anyone here amongst these men that you recognize?
That's the man. That's the man who accosted me and asked me if I wanted a good time in his motor.
How dare you, madam? I asked you if you knew where I could find Goodtime Motors.
It's not looking good, you know. It's not looking...
Not looking good. Are you seriously suggesting I go around chatting up members of the Derby and Joan Club? I've got a business appointment. That's it.
Arthur?
You're quite right, Ray, but you've forgotten I've already got one.
I'm not talking about your leg. Up here, Arthur. Up here.
What you going on about?
Arthur, you've been got...
Wheelchair. Sid, come on in.
I can't stop now, Arthur. Just dropped by to tell you not to bother with the cookeroods and the lamppost. I've made other arrangements.
Oh, that's a pity, because I found a likely source for the cookeroods. Come on in anyway. I want to talk to you about giving evidence for me in court. I suppose you heard what happened.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have.
I want you to go in the witness box and tell them why I was in the Waterloo area that night. How you tipped me off about the Daimler.
I can't do that, Arthur.
But that's why I got out of... thought I saw what you were after.
I wasn't after anything in Waterloo.
Yes, you were. Victorian fluted, octagonal panels.
You've got to keep me out of this, Arthur. This'll ruin my business. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Hey. You're going to need some professional help, Arthur. They can put you away for this, you know.
Well, as long as they do it before her indoors comes back from Cromer. Bring the chair in.
Yeah, all right then, but just a half. Mr. Lockwood, is there anything I can do for you, sir?
Yes, there is. My client, Arthur Daly, would like you to give evidence on his behalf.
Mr. Lockwood, would you kindly tell your client to get knotted?
He thought that might be your response. It's a subpoena directing you to attend the trial of Arthur Daly.
You've got to hand it to him, Sarge. He's got more front than Woolworths.
And there's one for you.
Oh, there you are, Ray. He's locked up and gone out. Not to worry.
He's locked himself in. Been refusing to come out all day. He's finally twigged that he can actually go down for this one. See what I mean, Dave?
You're right, Ray. I think he is on a turn.
Arthur, got a nice little surprise for you.
Thought you might like some Meals on Wheels.
Oh, Dave, you're a good friend. Young Raymond thinks I'm on the turn. He's been trying to get me committed.
Well, tell him about your little trips up the West End then, Arthur.
My trips up the West End are nobody's business but mine. Please remember that. Did he tell you about Sid?
Yeah.
After all the gear I put his way?
Judas. Don't worry about Sid, Arthur. He ain't worth it.
I'll tell you straight, Dave, I can't go into the Winchester. I bet the saloon bar jury is already calling for me to be undrawn and metrically quartered.
Not at all, Arthur.
Oh, so?
Tell him, Dave.
Tell me what?
Well, it's a little surprise we've arranged for you. The night after your case finishes.
It's a gesture of solidarity, Arthur. Well, everyone on the manor's going to be there.
Be where?
The Taj Mahal. Well, they does a lovely vindaloo.
Well, all of them?
All of them.
We'll hope in humanity.
Ah, it's nothing, Arthur. They said they'd give me the deposit back if you get sent out.
Mr. Daly, let me appeal to you, even at this 11th hour, even though your trial is tomorrow, I'm sure I could find you an excellent barrister.
Mr. Lockwood, I am not going to go down just because some overpaid mouthpiece made a pig's ear of it. I shall defend myself.
Any luck in locating the proprietor of Goodtime Motors?
We're having one last try.
Well, medical reports, statements, I think we're as ready as we can be. Oh, no, there is one rather delicate matter I think we should discuss. Raymond mentioned to me these, how shall I put it, these little trips of yours to the West End. Let me urge you to plead guilty and throw yourself on the mercy of the court. Overwork, strain, stress, that sort of thing.
Stress? I don't want to hear another word about my trips up west. My right to privacy is being violated, and Raymond is well out of order.
You've got a nerve showing up here.
Mr. Morley, whatever else you might be, in my experience, I've never thought of you as being bent.
Hear that, Phil? A testimonial.
You wouldn't want to see an innocent man suffer, would you?
Not normally, no, but make an exception.
I'd just like to run over the areas I shall be questioning you about in court tomorrow. Perhaps your young friend could take notes.
Apart from you, Daly, I don't want to run over anything. The only reason we're going into that witness box tomorrow is because we have no option.
In that case, I have no alternative but to ask the court to treat you both as hostile witnesses.
Don't be so bloody silly, Daly. You can't treat your own witnesses as hostile. And don't worry, we will be.
Yes, owing to numerous complaints from the public, surveillance team in the area. On the night of the 14th at 9:30 p.m., while I and other officers were parked in an unmarked car, I saw the accused driving very slowly at 9:30 p.m.
Can I help you? Sorry, mate, for a minute I thought you were somebody else. Looking for a car dealer called Tony. Supposed to have a business around here somewhere called Goodtime Motors.
I'm Tony, and this is Goodtime Motors.
So why does it say Simpson Antiques outside?
Previous owner, mate. I never got round to changing the sign. Now, what can I do for you?
You have been unable to trace Goodtime Motors from where he claimed he wanted to buy a car?
No, ma'am.
Goodtime Motors?
Yes, sir.
That's with 2 O's, Your Worship.
I'm obliged, Mr. Daly.
What, if anything, did you find in the accused's car?
A half box of cigars and 3 gross of French red light bulbs.
Did he say French red light bulbs?
Yes, sir.
60 watts, Your Worship. Soixante-quinze.
Thank you, Mr. Daly. But is that entirely relevant to the issues before this court?
It was very relevant to my customer.
Excellent, excellent. Well done, Raymond. I take it you're willing to give evidence on behalf of Mr. Daly?
It'll be a pleasure, Squire.
Good. If you'll be kind enough to wait here.
Here, Tony, if Arthur comes looking, tell him I'll be back.
Yes, red light bulbs are the normal means of illumination in brothels and houses of ill repute.
Oh, nice one, nice one.
Something else you wish to add, Mr. Daly?
In the fullness of time, Your Worship, in the fullness of time.
And you found how many?
Just under 3 gross, sir.
All French?
Yes, sir. And French mistress, 2nd floor, 2 rings.
A French mistress, you say?
Yes, sir. 45 minutes later, the accused emerged. He stopped to fasten his tie and put on his overcoat.
From subsequent inquiries, were you able to ascertain the occupations of these women?
I object to these questions. This is character assassination. What have my activities in Soho got to do with my arrest in Waterloo?
Unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Daly, the prosecution are attempting to establish a pattern of behaviour. Now, what is the occupation of these women?
They're all unemployed, sir. They all have convictions for soliciting, sir.
That is the case for the prosecution, sir.
And on this occasion, what was it?
佢究竟買咗乜嘢俾你？
法國通理啲咁，要個信理啲啲，冇鬼用咯。
He says you sold him 3 gross of French red light bulbs, and that if he doesn't get them pretty damn quick, they'll be no good for Chinese New Year celebrations.
How much longer am I going to be kept waiting here? I've got work piling up on my desk. I should be out catching criminals, not here testifying on behalf of one.
Mr. Harris, please.
That's me. Now, Mr. Harris, would you please tell the court how many times you attempted to ring directory inquiries in order to ascertain the phone number of the proprietor of Goodtime Motors?
Daly, I rang them about a dozen times.
Just give me a minute. Case still going on, Tom?
Yes, it is. Will you get in there and tell Daly to call me? I want to get out of here.
Get a taste of what it's like on the other side of the fence, are we, Mr. Morley?
Charles, Daddy.
Charge, Father. You must be Tony. You're more elusive than Lord Lucan.
That's right. Tony Blythe.
Thanks for coming. You did well to... What are you doing here?
Raymond asked me to testify.
No, Ray. No, under no circumstances. I do not know this gentleman.
But he can shed some light on Arthur's little trips up the West End, Mr. Lockwood.
Well, then you must call him, Mr. Daly. Police testimony on that aspect had a profound effect on the bench.
When are you going to call me, Daly?
Oh, later, Mr. Morley, later. I'm grappling with profound aggravation. Gentlemen?
Let's go back now that the court is returned.
Mind your feet, Constable.
You're going to have to call him, Arthur.
I'm not going to call him, and that's that. I called Tony Blythe.
We've got a case conference coming up in less than an hour. And we've unfunded it, tell them we'll be delayed.
But you did indeed have a Daimler at the cell?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, have you still got the Daimler?
Afraid not, no. I knocked it out to someone else.
Before this happy event, were you driving the Daimler? Where's Sergeant Morley?
Well, he's vanished. So's the other copper. Well, this man's waiting to give evidence.
What's your name?
Ashley Silverman.
What?
Who's this?
Ashley Silverman, sir.
Very well, Mr. Silverman. Will you please go into the witness box and take the oath?
Raymond, I'll have you for this.
Mr. Daly, you can walk. You're walking.
It's a sign, my lad. It's a sign.
Have they been calling me? Is it my turn?
It was, but you've missed it. Looks like you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, Mr. Morley.
You do realise that when I get in the witness that man, don't you? I'm going to do him so much damage, he's not going to get a heavy fine. He's going to go down. I'm going to put a stop to him once and for all.
Now, Mr. Silverman, would you tell the court your qualifications and your profession?
Certainly. I have an MA, a diploma in music, I'm a lecturer at the Fetter Academy of Dramatic Art, and I also give private lessons in speech making and voice production at my Soho studio, where you have been one of my pupils for nearly 5 weeks.
But what I'd like to know, Mr. Daly, is why you'd not previously given the particulars of this witness to the police. You realise it would have thrown a quite different interpretation on your visits to Soho.
Perhaps I could answer that, Your Worship. Ashley Silverman is but one of my many theatrical names. In a previous, happier incarnation, I was known as Irving Ashley.
The Irving Ashley?
Yes, very same.
I remember seeing you at Stratford-upon-Avon.
Oh, yes. With Larry and John.
I went to see him in a desert song. I took her indoors. Brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, how kind. Regrettably, those starry days are long past. Now, to eke out a humble living, I've been obliged to resort to my current occupation. When Mr. Daly came to me for private tuition in speech making and voice production, he recognized me immediately. I begged him to keep my little secret. I was fearful of publicity and ridicule. He readily agreed.
But you've now volunteered to give...
Came and explained the matter to me. I felt it was the least I could do. As Sidney Carton said on the way to his final haircut, "It's a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done before." If you like, Mr. Daly, I could run through one or two of the exercises that we did together. Oh, yes.
Sir, I wish to withdraw all charges against the accused and offer him the most profound apologies for the appalling ordeal he has undergone.
I should think so, too. Mr. Daly, you leave this court without a stain on your character. I award your full costs to you. Now, this case should never have been brought, and would not have been brought without the investigating officers jumping to the most extraordinary conclusions based on mere circumstantial evidence. Case dismissed. The court will rise.
How about that, then?
Congratulations, Mr. Daly.
Thanks very much. You realise you've made me the laughing stock of the entire manor, don't you? When word gets out that I've been having lessons to speak properly, I won't be able to go into the Winchester without being greeted by a chorus of the rain in Spain going mainly down the drain.
Yeah, but why were you doing it?
Look, if England footballers can cop 500 quid tax-free every night for a bit of public chat, so can I. I was going to join the after-dinner speaker circuit. This has been very embarrassing.
What's going on, Daly? I'm waiting to be called.
Miss Morley, many are called, but few are chosen. Come on, Ray. I'll buy you a drink.